saw a Facebook ad, whether it was the long form or the short form, whether it was the retargeted short form, because we did some retargeting to people who'd watched the videos as well. Sheni is passionate as Annie is about what she talked about this morning, and as I am about my topics and specialties. Sheni is just as passionate about that as well, but has an amazing business background as well. So being able to tie those two things together. And Sheni helped me fill the room the last time I did this. That was the first time I'd actually ever used Sheni. I tried a lot of other social media and specialists who were purporting to be social media specialists. And I've got the most amazing results in everything I've done. Sheni has now helped with a number of my authors retarget their Facebook ads, rewrite their ads a lot in conjunction with some of the stuff that Annie's done as well, and very, very good and specific at targeting when we're doing paid advertising. And I'm sure she's going to talk about what the questions we asked this morning about the difference between boosting versus paid ads, all of that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure she actually includes that in her presentation. So would you like to turn your camera on and reveal to the world who you are? Hello, Sheni. Sheni, well, actually, I might leave it up to you to introduce yourself, Dal, because I can't say any more other than this is my Facebook paid advertising guru.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. My name's Sheni, and I live on the sunny but today smoky Gold Coast. So I guess it's smoky down there as well. It's a bit scary. But basically I love being here, and I've helped many along the way. We've got some fantastic results. So basically what I've done is I've done Facebook advertising for a few years. I was a business owner, I guess, like everyone else, and I've been in business for 30 years. And I'll share my screen in a minute and be able to tell you a little bit about my background. But basically it came to a stage a couple of years ago where I realised that I needed to learn Facebook advertising, whether I liked it or not. Because the fact is, we've all done business, and I've been in business for 25, 30 years. And what worked before, magazines, newspapers, and all that, all of a sudden didn't work because things were changing. Okay. And so what I actually did, and I didn't want to go into paid advertising because it seemed way, way too complicated, but we didn't have a choice because that's the way that things were moving. And if we didn't keep up with it, then we would be left behind and our competitors would do it. So that's when I realised in my business, I actually had a business then, and I realised that it was either sink or swim. So that's where I decided to actually learn Facebook advertising. And would you believe, within 3 months, I got 3,000 new customers. So I was absolutely wrapped with the results, and I go, wow, if I can do this, anyone can do this. So I'll just share with you my screen, and I'll just go through a very quick presentation that I've put together for you guys. Oopsie, I'm going to stop sharing because I can't find my tab. Hey, can you see my screen or not?
No, not as yet.
My tab went.
It was on before. We tested this before and everything. Technology, I love. I actually do love it. Let's have a little look. Why isn't it?
Let me just go back into it. It's me that's done that, so I'm going to share again.
There we go.
Okay, can you see my screen now? Yes. Yes, excellent. Okay, so who am I? I've been in business for 30 years. I've owned some really big businesses in the past as well, so I know what it means to be a business owner. And as I said, it came to a point where it was either sink or swim. And when you actually put your mind to Facebook advertising and you actually understand the strategies, then it's actually quite easy to achieve. So I actually achieved 3,000 new customers in just 3 months. Okay. And since then, I've just done a lot of Facebook advertising. So I've had over 3,000 hours in Facebook. I've taught over 150 businesses this year alone in Facebook advertising. It's actually coming up to around 200 now. And also, I'm educated by the top Facebook marketers in the world. This is where it's really important because the algorithms, Facebook changes all the time, and to actually keep up with that can be a real challenge. And so what I actually do is I pay a lot of money to be in the top Facebook marketers groups in the world. So they're sharing things, they're sharing what works, what doesn't, how the algorithm's changing, how Facebook's changing all the time, and it's a fantastic place to be. So let me just start a little bit of information for you guys, and you probably already know the power of social media. Okay, I probably don't need to tell you how things have changed and how you as a business need to be on board. Actually, you don't have a choice to be on board anymore. So here's some stats though, really interesting stats. So there are approximately 24.6 million Australians, 15 million active Australians on Facebook. Okay, so about 60% of the total Australian population is an active Facebook user. Now, people often say to me in their business, oh, well, my audience isn't on Facebook. Well, the fact of the matter is, yes, your audience is on Facebook because actually everyone's audience is on Facebook, but it's actually how you target them and how you talk to them is whether they're going to resonate or they're going to respond to your ads. Okay. And when you talk about Facebook advertising, a lot of people, what they actually do is they think, okay, I've got to put an ad together. So they put an ad together, put it on and hope it sticks. And they have no idea whether it works or not. How many of you have actually done that before? Yeah, sure. Okay.
About a third of the room.
One of those reasons is boosting posts and actually pressing the boost post button, because when you actually boost a post, you're not using all the functionality that Facebook's given in Business Manager or Ads Manager. So it is really important to actually learn how to use Ads Manager and not to boost a post because, as I said, not all the functionality available is on boosting a post, but it is on Ads Manager. So 60% of the total Australian population is an active Facebook user. Okay, and here's the age bracket of people on Facebook. Now, this is not Instagram, this is Facebook, whereas you probably all know that your advertising for Facebook and Instagram is through the same platform. Okay, but this is just an information about Facebook where between 13 and 17 is 940,000. Obviously, they're more on Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and everything else that may be out there for that age group. 18 to 25 is around 3.5 million. Again, a lot of these people are on Instagram. And then from the 25 to 39, it starts swaying the other side and they go to Facebook. So it's really important to know where your audience is. Okay, so it's no use doing a Facebook an Instagram campaign to something where your age bracket is going to be, the 40 to 55s, where they actually sit on Facebook. So it's really important to know these figures here. 40 to 55 is 4.1 million, 55 to 64, 1.6, and 65 plus is a 1.2. So as you can see, even a lot of older people are actually on Facebook and Instagram as well, but especially Facebook. How many people's parents are on Facebook? And how many actually do a better job than what we do on Facebook by commenting and sharing and things like that? It's their way of actually interacting with people where they may have been missed out. So it's really important. There are so many people, so many different ages and people and types of people on Facebook and Instagram. So before we actually go a little bit further, I just wanted to let you know a little bit about the Boosting Post facility and why that's there. Okay, so if you have a business page, what actually happened 10 years ago, if you had 10,000 followers, 10,000 people saw your post on your business page. So you put a post out there and you put it out there and 10,000 people saw it. And it was a fantastic free way of getting your business out there, okay? And there are a lot of people who made lots of money during this time because it was free advertising. You just needed to build your business page up and it was all free, okay? Now, Facebook allowed that, 5 or 10 years ago, but they had a long-term plan in place, okay? So what actually happened after about 7 years, they go, oh, okay, so if you have 10,000 followers, what we'll do is we'll reduce that reach. So we'll say, okay, maybe 7,000 people will see your ad for free. And so people will go, well, that's still okay. I post something, 7,000 people see it. I might have a product or service that I'm selling and I'm getting free advertising. So basically, people kept doing it and they thought this is fantastic. So fast forward to 2019, Facebook had a long-term plan, okay? And now today, when you post something on your business page, approximately 5% of the people actually see your post. So if you had 10,000 followers and you post something on your business page, you're lucky if around 500 people see your post. That's amazing, isn't it? How many of you actually find that when you post, you don't get much interaction because not many people are actually seeing it?
Yeah, just about everybody nodding.
Totally. So what Facebook did is they go, okay, so these people can now use paid advertising, because when you pay, then more of your followers can see your post. And that was their long-term plan, okay? But what actually happened is they came across a bit of a stumbling point, is that Ads Manager and Business Manager, when you actually use that, it is quite comprehensive. You do need a little bit of training to actually use that. Once you're actually trained and you understand, it's actually quite simple. But for those people who hadn't been trained, they actually had some problems using it. And so what actually happened is they weren't advertising because they didn't know how to use it, and so they didn't spend the money. And Facebook then thought, hang on, we're just losing a certain amount of the market because they need to advertise and they know they want to advertise, but they don't know how to do it. And so what they actually did is they created that little boost post button, okay? And in that, they made it simple. But when they made it simple, what they actually did was they took away a lot of the features and the functionality that make Facebook so powerful, okay? And they took it away to make it easier for you. So there's about 11 objectives that you can choose in Ads Manager. There's about 3 in when you boost a post. And the most common, and even up to about 6 months ago, there was actually only one objective, and that was an engagement objective. So when you actually click that, you're saying to Facebook, find the people who are going to like, share, and comment on my post. Now, that's really good if you actually wanted more people to see your post on Business Manager. But if you had a product or service to sell, okay, and you actually got a post to say, hey, I'm selling this product, say, for example, this water here, okay, and Facebook would, you'd do a post and you wouldn't get any sales. And you go, well, this is not working. Why isn't it working? Because you asked Facebook to provide the people who are going to like, share, and comment, not to purchase your product, okay? And that's where a lot of people go wrong in that one little thing, is that you're not using the right objective. You're not saying to Facebook, find the people who are going to buy my product. You're saying to Facebook, find the people who are going to like, share, and comment on my product. And Facebook's providing exactly what you asked for. If you ask them for the wrong thing, they're going to give you the wrong thing. So that's why using Ads Manager is really, really powerful. So I'll just keep going with my presentation. That was sort of a little bit on the side because you guys asked that question. So basically, what Facebook is, it's about developing relationships. We, in the olden days, or even sometimes now, you actually go into a shop, okay, and you build a relationship with the shopkeeper. And they say, hi, how's your day going? What would you like to buy? Oh, you look beautiful. How many times do you go into a shop and they go, oh my gosh, I love your dress. I love your handbag. And it's like, okay, what do you want to sell me? Yeah. So basically, that's how you build the relationship. But online, we can't do that because obviously we're not there. So what you actually have to do is you have to, as an advertiser, build a relationship with your customer. And some of you may have heard of the Facebook funnel and the customer journey, okay? And that's what I'm actually going to explain to you today, because I think that's the number one strategy in Facebook, is actually developing that relationship with your customer, then they actually know you and they like and they can trust you, okay? So what the funnel looks like is basically at the top where we've got a cold audience, and basically in a strategy, you would say to these people, basically, hi, we're here. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're just introducing yourself, showing that you're trustworthy, showing, what type of things that you have. So if you have, say, for example, a clothes store, you might just want to show some beautiful photos of people wearing your clothes. You might have a video, you might have a slideshow, but basically you're saying, I'm here. You're not asking anything from them. Okay, so then what you actually do is people who have taken interest in what you have to say, you take them through another journey. And you say, okay, now that you've liked my video or you've liked my post, what I want to show you is this beautiful pink dress that we've got, and it's around $50 on special. Okay, so because I remember who the business was before, I've actually liked and trusted them, then this pink dress comes along and I go, I remember these people. And so so I might go onto their website, I might have a look at the pink dress, I might add to cart, but I might not purchase. The kids may come in and start screaming, so I go off and I've forgotten about it, because you know that on social media, our attention span is very, very small, okay? But that's okay. So what you actually do as a business owner is you need to retarget them again and say, hey, and I don't know if any of you have seen these ads come through when you've actually added to cart and gone away, a sad little space, and go, oh, you've left your product in your cart. That's sad. How many of you have actually seen that?
Yeah, quite a few nodding.
Yeah, okay. So that's what this journey is. That's what this Facebook funnel is. They've been tracking you, okay? And they're actually going to perhaps lastly go, oh my goodness, this customer has gone from our ad to our website to add it to cart to initiate checkout, but they haven't made the purchase. So we're going to retarget them again, and we're going to go, hey, what does it take to actually get you over the line? And it might mean a free product, it might mean 10% off, it might mean buy one, get one free, it might mean something else, but you've got to get them over the line. So by the time they've actually made the purchase, they've seen you around 3 times. Now, what they actually say in marketing is you need around 7 to 8 touch points before someone makes a decision. So most people on Facebook and Instagram advertising are actually just throwing their product out and hoping that it sticks. And that's why they don't get the sales, because they haven't taken the customer through the customer journey. So this is what I actually say about building relationships. Social equals relationship. Relationship equals trust, and trust equals purchase. Okay, so that's what it's actually about. It's not actually about throwing your idea out there and hoping that it sticks. It's about building a proper strategy behind your Facebook and Instagram campaigns. This is just an idea of one of my customers. It was a hotel event, and what they did is they actually created a funnel like this and took their customers through the customer journey. At the end of the day, they spent $1 and received $5 in event tickets. So once you can actually get this right, it's actually kind of like a pokies machine. You put $1 in, you get $5 out. And that's really good and really powerful when it comes to Facebook advertising, to know if I put X amount in, I'm going to get X amount out. Okay, and you can do that when you create the correct strategy behind it. And I know that that's what Maggie did in getting some of you to this workshop as well. She actually put a proper strategy in place, and she got fantastic results out of it as well.
Actually, I can talk a little bit about those results as far as cost per registration. My mentors who taught me how to do events and how to take my business to the next level, they said to expect a cost per registration, and they've been doing this for 27 years. And obviously this last 10 to 12 years specializing with using the Facebook marketing, they said to expect between a $50 and $65 per registration in their Facebook advertising spend. Since I've been using Shenny, my results have gone down to $28 per registration. Do you see the difference? I would rather spend $2,800 to fill a room than $6,500. Does that make sense? And that's the kind of difference, having the right targeting and, of course, the right ad copy. It's a combination. It's, as Shenny just said, it's the right strategy. You've got to have the right ad copy and the right targeting to come together as a magic pill, okay?
Totally. Okay, so I just want to explain to you a little bit about retargeting, because this is what's really, really important. And to be able to retarget on Facebook, you actually need a Facebook pixel on your website. How many of you actually have a Facebook pixel on your website?
Well, actually, can we ask the question, how many people know what a Facebook pixel is? Yeah, so there's only a few hands that went up that said, I know what a Facebook pixel is. A lot of people went, no, what is it?
Okay, cool. And how many have actually got one on their website?
Two. We'll go back to that, but 2 people have got their hands up saying they've got it on their website.
I will have questions afterwards if you want to have some questions, so that's all good. Let me just explain to you what a Facebook pixel is in easy to understand language, okay? Basically what it is, it's like a tube, okay? And what's on one side is your website and the other side is Facebook ads. And what actually happens with this tube is it actually communicates with your website and Facebook. So when someone actually goes to your website, okay, it reports back to Facebook what they're doing, whether they've just gone to your landing page, or if you're an e-commerce store, they may have added to cart, they may have initiated checkout. But because it's actually happened on your website, without this little Facebook pixel or this little tube, Facebook would never know. So what they do is they communicate. So that's what this Facebook pixel is. It's a communication point between your website and Facebook. Okay, and it's a code that your programmer will put onto your website, and then you connect that with Facebook. Okay, so let me actually explain to you in easy to understand language how this Facebook pixel works. But if you are going to retarget, and basically if you are going to do any Facebook advertising, I would recommend that you do not start at all until your Facebook pixel is installed. And again, as I said, your programmer can do that for you. Okay, so here's an easy to understand way that the pixel works for lead generation. Okay, so let's say we mark a customer with a different hand for each action they take while visiting your website. So basically they've gone from your Facebook ad and now they've actually gone to your website, okay, and they've viewed your content. That's what the action is, the view content. So these people have seen your Facebook ad and have clicked on your link and gone to your website or landing page to find out more. Okay, we'll label this event view content with a red hand. And Sally, Jane, Kay, and Penny have all gone to your website. Now, at each of these points, what we call it that the pixel has fired. And when a pixel fires, it means that it's communicated. Okay? So this is our view content. We've got 4 people who have actually gone to our view content. Okay? After reading about your lead magnet, only Sally and only Sally and Kay have decided to give you their email address, phone number, where you would then send them out more information or call them according to what your lead funnel is. So we'll represent this with the blue hand. So we're talking about a lead generation campaign here where you would actually have a website to a landing page. You might tell a little bit about a free PDF or something that you're giving away free. And in exchange for that free PDF, what they have to give is their email address and telephone number. Okay, that's their payment for your free PDF. Okay, so basically they've gone from Facebook ad and they've gone to landing page, but now only Sally and Kay have decided to give you their email address and phone number where you'd send them out. So we'll actually represent this with a blue hand. So as you can see, Sally and Kay have got a blue hand. Okay, and so if we wanted to retarget people who had viewed content on our website, we'd have all 4 people in our audience because remember, Sally, Jane, Kay, and Penny viewed our content. Okay, and if we wanted to retarget those that have provided their email, phone number through our ad, we would have Sally and Kay in our audience. Okay, so that shows you how you can do that. Now, there are a lot more obviously complicated audiences that you can create in Facebook and Instagram. And retargeting wise, you can create a whole lot more, but that gives you an idea of actually how the pixel works. So what does all this mean? When we have a pixel installed on our website, we're able to retarget our customers at each event on our pixel. Okay, so the event is when it fires off, and each time a customer triggers an event on our website, this data is transferred to Facebook where we can create ads to target this particular audience at each event. And because a customer may trigger more than one event in the customer journey, we should always aim to target them at the relevant event with a relevant ad. Does that make sense? So for someone who's viewed your content, we might have an ad for them, but for people who perhaps in this lead generation, they may have actually put their email address in, but they may not have actually submitted that. And you can actually create another ad to target them. So it really depends on what part of the customer journey that they're on to how you'll actually target them. And as Maggie said, how you actually talk to them. The script and your call to action, every single little part of your ad, there is a complete strategy behind it. And that's why people who actually just go and put an ad together and throw it out, that's the reason why they're actually not getting success, because there are specific strategies in every single area of your campaign that work. And once you actually have those strategies in place, your ads will work. I mean, with Maggie, we didn't need to try so many different scripts and things like that because she had a really good script that was according to a proper strategy. And so we knew that when we actually put the ad out, it would actually work. A treat because she'd done that.
And an example how we used the pixel in that case is we had the landing page for when you saw the ad and you went to the landing page and you read the details And if you decided to register, you clicked and you put your registration, you put your email and your name in. So we were able to target people who went to the landing page but didn't enter their email address, and those that did. Does that make sense? So those that did went on to my active campaign, my CRM, and they were then emailed out as a registrant, except it went a little crazy wrong in that case. But those that didn't, in the last couple of weeks of the campaign, we then retargeted it with a very short ad and a little video. And we just retargeted, you saw the ad, you didn't register. If there was a particular reason, let us know. If you'd prefer something else, let us know. So it was a very specific ad to the people who'd been to the landing page but didn't register. Does that make sense? So that's how we would have used the pixel in that case.
Fantastic. So if you haven't installed a pixel on your website, you're losing out on thousands of dollars of business, because it's always easier to convert an audience that is warmer or more familiar with your products or services than with an audience that has never heard of you before. So that's why it's so powerful to retarget in Facebook advertising, and generally these leads will cost you a lot less than an audience that's cold. Okay, so I believe that anyone can conquer Facebook advertising, okay? You just need to be shown what to do. So I know it's really scary for some of you who may have tried it, may have lost money, or basically didn't even know if you'd lost money or gained money. But when you're actually shown the right strategies on what to do and taught how to actually analyze the health of your ad, then you can conquer it. I've had clients that have just thought, oh my goodness, how do I do it? I've actually got an 8-week coaching program, and I had one guy that had finished the coaching program. We were just going to our last week, and what he actually did was we'd done the ad and we were about to analyze the ads, and he called me and he goes, I had to turn the ad campaign off. And I thought, oh my goodness, why? What happened? And he goes, because I had a budget of 25 new customers for 2 months. He goes, I got them in 6 days. He goes, he was a pool service guy. He goes, I've got no more men to do it. I have to turn it off and then get more men and then turn it back on. But not only that, because we retargeted some of his current customers while we did that ad, he actually got a $4,000 equipment upsell, and he was in negotiations with another person who would be selling more equipment too. So basically in that campaign, he spent $120. He sold $1,300 in pool services, and he made $4,000 in one customer up front, and he was in negotiation with another customer just out of $120. And that's how powerful it is when you do the right strategy and the right campaign. So, yeah. So that's all that I wanted to share with you today, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you've got. I know that Maggie's got a certain amount of time, so just as much time as you have, Maggie, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Cool. We'll just see if there's a mic runner, and we're going to just take questions about, if you want to ask her about specific targeting, or if you've had a campaign that worked or didn't work, if you have a question about that, let's see what's there. Anyone have any? Yep, we've got a few questions here.
I'm an illiterate. How do I know if I have a pixel on my site? Does it jump out at me and say, hello?
Your programmer will be able to tell you whether you do or not. If you do, you probably know about it.
Yeah.
Okay. There is something called Pixel Chrome Helper that you can install in Chrome, and that can actually show you whether you've got a pixel on your website or not, if you're a little bit computer savvy. But if you're not, then your programmer will.
And if you don't know it's there, then you probably have never asked your programmer to put it on. So we would assume it's not there right now.
That's right. It's not a standard thing that your programmer would put on. Okay, it should be.
Unless they ask.
That they actually do Facebook advertising, but most programmers put it on unless you actually specifically ask for it.
We have another question at the back.
Yeah, I was wondering, if you have a Facebook group, can you essentially do the same thing with that? Can Facebook talk to its own group and work out what people have viewed?
You can't pixel your Facebook group. No.
Okay. You would think Facebook would talk to itself.
You would think so. And I'm sure it's got its own strategy why it's not doing that.
They've purposely done that for a reason.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's a group and it's not your customers. So, but let me just share you something, okay? And this might be a little bit complicated for some, but if you're a little bit savvy, It's actually a way that you can actually retarget people who are in your Facebook group or in a big group, a Facebook group that you might be part of. If you're allowed to, because a lot of these big groups you're not allowed to post, okay? So you've got to go by the rules of the group. But what you can actually do is you can post a video to your business page, okay? And what you actually do after that is you share from your business page to the group your video. And when you're retargeting video views, it's actually retargeting the views from the people in your Facebook group. Because if they've watched it, then you're actually retargeting anyone who's watched that video. So that's a little trick which can be really powerful if you have a big Facebook group, or you can actually get into a Facebook group.
And we'll talk a little this afternoon in our organic section for organic reach. We'll talk a little bit more about videos and doing video, what we call video view audiences. And one of the reasons I believe Shani and my campaign for this program and everything else I do costs so much less per click is because we'll do a video series, free video series on Facebook, and then we will retarget the people who've watched those videos, and we'll actually upload that as a list to Facebook and retarget those people. So they're already warm.
Shani, I've got a question in regard to pixels. Can you have many different pixels on your website? As in if you've got different campaigns running?
No, you should only have one pixel to your website and one pixel to Facebook ads. Now, if you already had one, okay, and you can't find where it is or what it's doing or whatever, you can actually have multiple pixels on your website. It's not going to interfere with your website, but as long as that number, because it comes up with a number of, I don't know how many numbers, it's about 15 numbers, as long as that one on your website is matching the one on Facebook, they'll communicate, okay? So if you already had one and you don't know what's happened with it, where it is, what it's doing or whatever, that's okay. Start a new one if you wanted to.
And so you can know whether somebody's clicked on your landing page and not registered, and then you can also have it pixel to those that have actually purchased and things as well. So it can be done. It'll just be a different pixel number.
Pixel, but the different events, you only need one pixel.
Yep. Anyone else have a question? One at the front here.
Is it really important to have a website? Because I've heard a lot of people have succeeded with just the Facebook.
Sorry, I totally missed that. Can you say that, Maggie?
Is it important to have a website, or can people just succeed with Facebook only?
I would say if you are serious about business, you need a website. It gives you credibility. It gives you trust. People are looking now on how, if you're a scammer, if you're not a scammer, how do I trust you? How professional are you? For me, if you don't have a website, it means that you're not professional. So even though someone might not use it a lot or whatever it is, you definitely need a website.
And remember, a website doesn't have to be this huge 20 page thing on the internet. A website can actually be just a one-page landing page. Really, that's a website. It's just a one-page landing page, a one-page website. Does that make sense?
The landing pages now instead of the full-on website,
yep.
Okay? Because a sales page or a landing page actually summarizes everything. And remember, instead of having to jump around to the about us, about what we do, or whatever, it's all on one page. And it's like a selling page. So people are more likely to read everything about you, what you've got to offer and everything like that. Remember, what we're trying to do is make it the least amount of clicks possible, because we want to make it as easy as we can for our user. So yeah, exactly what Maggie said. A lot of people now are actually going just straight to landing pages, and they've just got one page on their website, and that's a landing page.
And the trend with websites now is less pages, isn't it, Annie? The trend is less pages and even no longer showing the pages on the top. A lot of the more modern websites now have the pages listed on the bottom, and the top is more about the branding and things as well, and a clear message, a clear call to action of who I'm targeting.
Definitely.
Any other questions about Facebook paid advertising? This is your chance. Yep, we've got one at the back. Amanda?
when you're collecting the information from those or sales from those Facebook ads, do you have a preference to your collection point? I know we've talked ClickFunnels, there's Active Campaign, anything from MailChimp, there's all those sorts of things. You don't have to tell me which ones, but do you think you can start at a level and move up? I heard you talking about moving up to Active Campaign and Illusion and those sorts of things. But if we're starting off, medium base, should you just go straight in with something like Lead Pages or, Kajabi, because I know that does some collection as well? I mean, that's probably my struggle at the moment.
I'd probably answer that, and Andy, you might have a different opinion as well. I believe ClickFunnels, from all of the Lead Pages and things that I've used, personally, I believe it's the best one that I've come across, and it's the easiest one to kind of manage that I personally have come across. And that may be just a bias because I've used it now for so long, I know it very well. But I find that the usability and the functionality is...
I'm in two
second
of his
to none.
funnels, so I know because I've
Yeah.
got two of
Yeah,
his
yeah.
funnels.
So that's my preference. But Annie, do you have a preference?
I love ClickFunnels, my website.
Annie loves ClickFunnels.
Which is really naughty, which means I have not great SEO or anything like that. And I'm just really cool that I can make millions of dollars without having to have all the fancy shit.
Yep.
I keep it simple.
Yeah,
ClickFunnels. You can do, I think it's $300 a month if you're using their email automation and everything as well. Or it's $99 a month if you're
They've just
using
upgraded their whole
funnels.
platform.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, and so they've given you this whole kind of funnel like Netflix and all of this kind of stuff. And that's the nice bells and whistles. But the fundamental use, if you had the $97 a month platform of ClickFunnels, is enough to get you through to what you need to do. If you want to use the email side of it as well, then of course you need to upgrade to that next level. I think I'm on Active Campaign for my email service, and ClickFunnels, I do have the $297 package because I use many other services within it, and that gives me unlimited funnels. So I have my clients' funnels built in there. I have all of that. So I can do as many millions of funnels if I want to. Does that make sense? So whereas the $97 a month gives you a limited amount of funnels that you can do and a limited amount of people who've clicked on and registered through your funnels. But to start with, the $97 package is perfectly fine. We should be on a subscription model. We should be on an affiliate. Oh, my God. We have a question here. Tony?
Yeah, I'm about to move from one side of Port Phillip Bay to the other. I've been relying on word of mouth for the last 15 years because I'm good at what I do and I don't advertise. I've got a website. What do I do? What do I do?
Okay, so Annie, would you
To break
have
into
any...
a new market.
To break into a new market, any kind of instant quick fixes, and then we'll go to Shani's ideas on that as well. And then I'll talk to you about later on my organic reach ideas as well.
How many clients a month do you need?
10 or 30.
Right. My personal opinion then, if you need 10 or 20 clients a month, you don't actually need a funnel. You need to be really active on Facebook, communicate and connect. I don't actually teach funnels to my photography students. I teach funnels to bigger businesses because unless you need thousands of people or hundreds of people per month, I'm not a great believer that the cost and the difficultness of getting the copyright on a funnel is more directed for someone who does need more than 10 clients a month, 20 clients a month. So if you want to build an email list, you absolutely need a funnel. But if you want an email list for thousands, not 20 people a month, the cost, that's my belief. A lot of people think I'm wrong, but my photographers, don't have the complication of life. It costs me $100,000 to learn where to put the words on a funnel. And that's why most people's funnels don't work. When you look at the world of funnels, there's millions of them, but there's only a handful doing really, really well. And that comes from people who have done education like Maggie and Shani and I. We know what people respond to. Because if you just try and put a funnel up for a sale, you'll be disappointed. And that's, being very honest.
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely. Jenny, for you, if we've got somebody who's been very well established in business, relied on word of mouth, and now is moving towns, positions, whatever it is, and needs to build a new audience, how would you recommend it without spending too much on Facebook?
Do you have your email database of your current customers?
We're just getting the microphone over there, won't be a sec?
No, not at all. No.
Can you look back through your records and get their email addresses?
I chucked them all out the other day.
Oh, no.
Yes. I'll never be into email anyway, bugger it. I hate email.
I know exactly what Shenny's going to say. I know she was going to say that you can upload a lookalike audience.
If you emails, you could actually create an audience that looks like your customers in your new area. And that would be really, really quite cheap in paid advertising. If you haven't, I'd probably tend to, do you have any following on your business page at all?
I might just go back there and we'll come back to that point in a minute, Shenny, because I saw a couple of people go, what did she just say? What did she just say? Yeah, so a lookalike audience is if you upload an audience of email addresses, first name, last name, and email address, and you upload that to Facebook, and you tell Facebook, find me people in the other side of Port Phillip Bay or wherever it was, yeah, like these people, Facebook will go and find them. That's called a lookalike audience. So I'll give you an example with this program. All of the registrants that were in my June program who both showed up and didn't show up, we uploaded their details to Facebook. They're already on Facebook. And Facebook has a way of scrambling all of that data so their data is protected, yeah. And then I then got Shenny to put that as a lookalike audience into my ads manager for people registered for the WBBD program, and find me more people in Sydney. And I targeted specifically Sydney, find me more people in Sydney that are like these people. Does that make sense? So you could do the same in your region.
Where the hell does confidentiality fit in with this?
That's why there's layers of scrambling in it. They're already... It's just the email address and the name, and they're already, it's only the email address if they're already registered on Facebook with that email address. It can't pick up, if they're not registered with the same email address, it can't pick that up. You do need a minimum. I actually go for a minimum of 120 to 125 because there'll be ones that won't be using the same email address as they are on Facebook, so Facebook won't register them. So I aim for about 120 to 130, and that way I'm guaranteed. I think it's about 80 something is the minimum you need for a lookalike audience. 100. But the bigger number, the better.
And what kind of dollars is that going to cost?
Well, that's why my cost per registration comes down, because I'm targeting the same the type of people that are interested in coming to these events, interested in writing a book, and interested in learning about online courses.
Yeah, but the Facebook invoice is going to be how big?
It depends on, it can be as big as you want it to be. If your budget is $5 a day, then your budget is $5 a day. If your budget is $50 a day, it's $50 a day. You've got to decide how much you're willing to spend and stick to your budgets. Don't do it unlimited until you've tried. And my recommendation would be learn a lot about the targeting and speak to people like Shenny or people like Annie and myself, etc., about the kind of ad content you'd be doing before you did anything like that. Yeah.
I just quickly wanted to say the real truth of the matter is if you don't know what lookalike audiences, and there's probably another 20 or 30 things that you don't know that you don't know. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that's why you're an event like this. So don't be overwhelmed by all of this information. You don't start there, you get there. And you get people who have done, like there's, along with lookalike audiences, that's one that works really well. There's probably another 15 strategies that will suck the money from your wallet.
Video view audiences, website audiences, you name it. There's all kinds of audiences you can target. Absolutely. And it's exactly the right. Yeah. So the other part of that, Shenny, was go on to talk about Tony's question around retargeting. or trying to find a new audience in a new area? Sorry.
Right. Yeah, so that would be the first thing that I would have tried. But if you don't have that and you're going to a new area and you don't have any contact of, the email addresses or anything, you basically have to start from scratch. Now, as Annie said, if you did have a business page and you could start, promoting through that or organically, that obviously is a cheaper way of doing it. But paid advertising can be a lot faster. Okay, and your budget, if you only needed 10 people, might be minimal budget. Okay, but what you can do is you can just target people based on their interests and behaviours. And once you have a bit of data up your sleeve, then you can start doing these lookalikes and start really expanding your interests, your audiences. But if you don't have anything, it's still okay. You can just start small. And what we actually do, and any good advertisers do, is they start small. They see the stats of your ad, and when you get to the acceptable stats or your acceptable cost of acquisition, that's when we actually start scaling. So we're not going and putting a couple of $100 on a day when we have no idea whether the ad's going to work or not. Yep. We only do that when we're 100% sure that we're happy with the results of the ad, then we start scaling. And that's why a campaign is profitable or not.
And that's the same even with a bigger campaign like this. I didn't start my ad campaign, even though I'd advertised this program before. I didn't start with $100 a day. I started with, I think it was a $10 a day campaign, and I tested it for, how long was it, Jenny? About 2 weeks? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we tested it for 2 weeks, saw what kind of results we were getting, who was clicking on what, and Facebook gave us all of that information because we pixeled it to the landing page. And it showed us who was responding, who wasn't, whether the lookalike audience was responding better than the interest and behaviours audience. And as it turned out, it was. And we ended up switching the interest and behaviours audience. Or we had the money split at one stage. We were spending, we proved what was actually working, we were spending around $100 a day. And we had, I think, $40 going to the lookalike and $60 going to the lookalike and $40 a day going to the interest and behaviours. When we realised interest and behaviours wasn't really working at all, we just turned all of the money towards, apart from about $5 or $10, towards lookalike audience, because we'd already tested and we knew it was getting a better response. Does that make sense? But I would never, even somebody who spends that kind of money on a campaign, I would never start with that. I would always start with $5 or $10 a day or $20 a day to find out who's responding, where is it best to spend my money. Same as different types of ads. You can put 3 or 4 different types of ads on, testing it. You might have a different image here, one with a video, one with just a still image. And then you'll put $5 on each one, just to see which one's working, and then switch this one off because it's not working and add that money to this one. Yeah. So it's all about testing and measuring. We have a question at the back. Great. Jenny, she's got an ad manager question.
That's right. So does Ad Manager track that split testing, or does the funnel track that?
The stats that come from Ads Manager, you'll be able to ascertain.
So you can split test in Ad Manager as well as, so if I wanted to try whether a video was working or the picture of the cartoon character was working better, that would be
see it in Ads Manager, because Ads Manager will give all the stats that you need to be able to ascertain.
Because I'm in a similar position as I've moved from Sydney to the Central Coast, and I don't have a lookalike audience.
Yep.
So
Ads Manager will tell you, so you've got stats for each individual ad. So you can look at it as a whole campaign, or you can just say, show me the video campaign and show me what's working. You could say, show me the still image campaign, what's working. Show me the without an image, just a long, like the long form versus the short form text. I looked at those 2 campaigns and went, which one's working? And the long form text was working better.
And it might be another question. So there's a lot of things going on with Facebook advertising as well about signalling out or alienating your client or whatever it is, or like not directing things to fat people or to depressed people. You've got to use the right terminology. What's the sort of turnaround time for putting your ads in and getting them back? And are they getting better and clearer at saying why they're rejecting your ads?
No. It's up to you to know the terms of service.
I've seen the terms,
Quarter 4, what's actually happening is there's been a lot, and I mean a lot in the last month, of ads being rejected, ad accounts being disabled, business managers being disabled. Facebook is ruthless.
Yes.
If you don't go by 100% or 150% of their terms of service, you're out, okay, automatically. We don't need to tell you why. It's your responsibility to find out why, okay? You can ask for manual reviews. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes people feel like they've done nothing wrong and Facebook will just say sorry.
Yeah.
The reason why is obviously because they have a huge amount of people, especially in quarter 4, that want to advertise, and they only have a certain amount of space. And so if you're going to be a little bit iffy, or if you're not going to go by our terms
I never
of service,
thought of that. Actually, there's only so much space.
yeah. So you know, in my groups, and these are advanced people who know a lot about stuff. It's just rampant that there's just so much problems going on at the moment. And obviously each year it gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Darren,
So-
could we bring the mic to Annie? I think she had something to add to that as well. And they will actually, if you do ask for a manual review and it's reapproved, they will activate it again straight away. Sometimes it's just a matter of tweaking 1 or 2 words. If you re-look at the terms of advertising and go, oh, I see that's the word, or you didn't have your terms of your privacy policy on the bottom of the landing page or something like that. It can be as ruthless as that. Annie had something to add.
Again, really important that you trust the person that you work with. It's impossible to know all of this stuff without help. Compliance is 100% your responsibility, even if you're working with somebody running campaigns. For me, when I was shooting larger girls, I can't put you're fat and you hate the way you look. I would have lost my ad account within seconds, and no matter how much I appealed, I would never have gotten it back. So it's really important. You can't single people out by their ethnicity, their race, their religion, their look. We have maternity photographers, and we have a lot of problems. No matter how many times I say it, there's always someone that says, you know, I'm looking for pregnant women. And this is what I love about Facebook. They're really concerned about not triggering people, you know, that may have lost a baby and things like that. So as much as a lot of people hate these rules, they're in place for a really good reason. It keeps Facebook a safe place. And yes, you know, we have to bend to Facebook's ways, but it's why, you know, like, yeah, so read the compliance stuff every 6 months. You know, it'll take you an hour. That's okay. And just be careful of your language. Know the words that you can use and you can't use. So you can't use hate. You may say you don't like the way you look rather than you hate the way you look. There's always a way around it, being more sensitive.
And one of my, or a couple of my courses are to do with either weight or eating challenges, things like that. They're always a little bit more difficult to get approved, but it's usually just in the fine tweaking. Once you know the Facebook rules, it's in the fine tweaking of the words and the way in which they're presented and twisted around. That's why it's really good to know somebody who understands a little bit about copy and copywriting, etc., because it can be as simple as changing your to you. Yeah.
And can you say that
Sorry,
Facebook is only concerned about us as users? Okay, and it's not something that this is against. It's about that Facebook wants to provide a place where us users feel comfortable, that we don't feel pressured, that we don't feel like we're singled out or we don't feel bad. Their responsibility is to actually make us feel comfortable, okay, and make us want to be on Facebook. Because if I'm feeling like, for example, I'm overweight, or I feel like I'm not keeping up with the Joneses, or whatever it might be, I'm not going to go on Facebook. And so ultimately, that's going to affect Facebook's bottom line. But their ultimate aim is for us to want to be on Facebook, to enjoy being on Facebook, and to not feel pressured being on Facebook.
Excellent. We've got 1 minute. Is there one other question? And then we'll have to let Sheni go back to her beautiful children on this gorgeous Sunday. Anyone else have any? Is this your last chance? Nope. Sheni, may I say thank you so much for giving your Sunday afternoon up. How amazing are you? And give your kiddies a beautiful big hug, and we'll speak to you during the week.
Thanks. Excellent. Well, you all
Big
have a
three
lovely
cheers
time.
for Shani. I always enjoy. Have a wonderful afternoon, darling girl. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
What was that? Go put some clothes on. Yeah. Who's ever done that? I have a funny story to tell about, could be funny, could be embarrassing, about working from home. Who's ever been on their Skype or where they're not quite dressed and they don't have their camera on and stuff? Yeah? Yeah? Years ago when I lived in Melbourne, I had a Skype meeting with my one of my mentors at the time, and it was actually about the first course that I was developing. He was helping me develop that first course, and I'd been to the gym, and I was looking at my timing of the morning, and my appointment with him was at 8 a.m. And I thought, I want to go to the gym before I go. I want to actually get that out of the way, and then I need to do that, and then I need to do that, and I need to answer some emails, and I thought, I got really close to not being able to get to the gym, and I thought, I'm going to do it anyway, and he's just going to have to put up with the fact that I'm not going to be dressed or whatever properly, and I'll just keep my camera off. It'll be okay. And so I went to the gym, rushed back home, had a quick shower. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be late. So I dressed the top half, just in case, sat in front of my computer, and he said, oh, go and put your camera on. I want to see you today. I want to see your face. He was working on some mindset stuff. And I went, yeah, okay, thinking, yeah, top half, no problem. Absolutely fantastic. And then he said something about behind me, I had set up my little desk and stuff, and I had my books in stand-up things. So my Unzip book was there, and my Unleashed book was there, and my Sunshine book was there. And he said something about, so tell me about what your customers want. Tell me about what they need. Tell me the languaging. And I went, oh, I'm not quite sure. And I wasn't quite getting his question. He said, well, reach back, grab your Unzip book. Tell me, if you read I know there's something in there on chapter 7. I know there's something in there. And I thought, I can't. What am I going to do? And I went, oh, well, I think I'll remember. Hang on for a sec. And then I'm trying to reach back, and it's not going to work. And in the end, I had to actually say, Ryan, you just need to close your eyes. I'm going to switch the camera off for a moment because I don't have any pants on. He was horrified. I'm saying, surely you do that sometimes. Surely you go on camera and the top half's fine and you've got your slippers on the bottom, surely. But yes, I got caught out. So I don't actually do that anymore, just in case. It was very funny. Oh, dear. Very, very cool. If you want to take 2 minutes just to do a stretch, go to the loo, because we're going to be sitting down for a little while after that. I'm just going to put my PowerPoint back on and get set up.